I did not seek this out as a boyfriend. It was not my dream to go out or marry a mob guy. And a woman that chooses that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You choose your path. You make your decisions.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
3 years of suffering, and what have we learned? We've learned that in every facet of life, there is pain and trauma. We have learned that there are those out there willing to help. We have learned that there are some of the strongest individuals on the planet that we now call friends. We have learned that if you rearrange your pain, it can become a strength. We have learned that hope can be reinvigorated over time. We have learned that once you climb one mountain, it's time to find another. Most of all, we learned that you build bonds inside the sharing of mutual trauma and empathy. To look at another person, not as broken, but as a work in progress. And once you've figured out the tools to survive, it is your duty to help another. I'm Kevin Donaldson here with Mike Failace, and welcome to the Suffering Podcast, year-end Season 3 finale here at Mickey's Bar and Grill, 601 Riverside in Lyndhurst, New Jersey.
This is going to be so much fun tonight.
Oh my God. So if you're a fan of overcoming suffering and overcoming adversity, then we're for you, because that's what we do here and that's the stories that we highlight. So do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You can join now, ring the bell so you can get notified of all of our new content. And of course, follow us on all social media so you can find out what we're up to. Tonight's a very special night.
Yeah, like Kevin said, we're at Mickey's Bar and Grill, 601 Riverside Avenue in Lyndhurst. If anybody's in the area,
Stop down
one night. We're going to bring back a bunch of former guests.
They're already showing up.
A bunch of them come in already, and it's like a family reunion here.
Well, we're trying to get our opening in, and we're trying to greet. It's like being at your wedding, long time ago, many moons ago, where you try to get to everybody, and you just can't get to them.
We sat down about 20 minutes ago to start recording this, and people just started coming in.
And behind the camera, there's an audience right now, so it's a little disheartening. We're used to being in a nice, quiet studio.
Yeah, and the only person we saw was Andrew. Now we see everybody.
Mike, 3 years.
It's crazy.
3 years.
And Kev, we have to thank everybody out there for listening. I mean, what did we hit? 500,000?
500,000 audio downloads. We're over 2 million views. We've come a long way to the 25 listens that I used to get before you came on in episode 9. Episode 9 changed everything. I still remember all the numbers. 333 audio downloads, and we thought, oh my God, this is it. We hit it.
I remember when my episode was the most listened to one. Now it's probably down about 50. Well, because I used to play it all the time.
Well, in a loop for 333 times. No, we judged
only
everything.
4 people listened to my episode. It was me, the other 1,000.
Well, the way we used to judge how well our show was doing is how many listens were we getting to in 1 week. And now it's how many views are we getting in 1 day. So a lot of stuff has changed.
Today's episode, last time I saw it, in 5 hours, the episode that came out today, we had 8,500 views.
So all of that,
8,500 views.
all of that is because something we're saying, something our guests are saying is resonating with you. So that's kind of why we have these year-end parties, sort of a little celebration, a little get-together, bring back some former guests, and we just want everybody to have a good time and celebrate this journey that we've taken. And it's been healing for me. It's been hurting for me.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
At times it's been real tough, because we're listening to everybody else's problems, which brings up our own problems. So it's, like I said, a lot of rides home after doing a show that, like I said, that's like decompression time.
We thank you all for joining us for this Season 3 finale of the Suffering Podcast. We're going to break this up into 2 parts. Trust me, we'll give you a little heads up when we're going to end the first one, but we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Stay tuned. We have our first guest coming up very shortly. And we are back at Mickey's Bar and Grill for our Season 3 finale, and we have one of our favorite Mafia daughters. Actually, it's the only Mafia daughter that we know.
It's the only daughter. I mean, we've had other people in, but...
And we're sitting here with Angela Pisano. If you remember, she came in and spoke about the suffering of a mob daughter and told us a story that blew our hats off.
I hope so.
So when you were asked to originally come in to the show, you know, everybody has, especially you've only done one other show besides this one, everybody has this idea in their head about how it's supposed to work. What did you think of it when you came in?
Well, it was a new experience for me, so I enjoyed it. I thought the two of you made it very easy. I thought the content, even though it was a little different than what you usually do, I think it fit in to, you know.
You were so nervous about it. I don't know if I fit in.
A little bit about what you do, and then I thought this is good. This is going well.
But
you know,
you checked out our show before. You vetted us. You vetted us before you came.
Oh,
in.
I vetted you. Yes.
Were you like reluctant to come in, or after you saw us, it was like, hey, you know, I'll talk to these two idiots.
Honestly,
Well, I had to go through the Don.
I was just gonna say,
absolutely.
her husband.
honestly,
We got vetted twice.
I never say this out loud ever.
Okay, then whisper.
But my father was my protector bodyguard. Joe kind of took that role on. So
I had a
and I
half-hour,
expect
45-minute
it.
conversation with her husband. Then I was able to get to
I had to
Angela.
call you.
Correct. Here's
You
my
didn't get to
number,
call me.
and I'm sitting here waiting, sweating. I don't know what's going. No, actually, you were introduced through Paul Simmons.
Yes. So after I spoke with you, and I had a comfort level, I was fine coming on the show. However, to answer your question, Mike, if that never occurred, I would have been very guarded, maybe, and I would have been maybe not as generous with my time.
We say all the time, though, it's just like three people sitting around the table talking.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and Kevin really made it this way, that it's just a relaxed atmosphere.
But I tell
we
you
sit
this.
there and we talk and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have turned down being a guest on a show because when they emailed me the original intake form, they mentioned pronouns. I said, "Nah, this show is not for me.
You have
I
to
am
decide.
not going to do well on this show."
Now, you mentioned Joe. Did he watch the episode with you?
My episode? Not with me, but he did watch it.
And what did he have
Yes.
to say about it?
Do I got to worry
Because-
about something under my car?
That's where I'm getting at. Because he's not far from here.
He actually thought it went very well.
He's not here.
Yeah, he's not here. He actually
Did
thought
you see that guy in the building across the street
He had
with the long gun?
He had a thing happening downtown.
he's
he had to go
watching.
take care of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, he thought it went very well. He thought it was very informative, and he thought that even though the whole story wasn't told, there was so much done across the board within the hour time frame. It gave a really big picture.
Well,
you
yeah,
know, you got a picture. You walked
Yeah,
away with a picture.
exactly.
I read the rough draft of your book, and your story is so robust that it would be impossible to do in one episode. But when your book gets published, we would like to invite you back if you're willing to come. And maybe we'll bring Joe in here because he's ducking me. Joe, you're ducking me.
Twice now.
Yes.
Twice.
Now, here's a quick question for you. You've seen a couple of our shows because you've edited us so carefully. Is there anything that we haven't done that you might think of?
Yes, fun.
Fun.
So
Funny you say that. Last week was all about fun.
I didn't know that. So I vetted each of you personally, and I
boy.
looked at
So Joe knows my address now.
So I looked at the show. I read about it. You know, whatever I could find. I watched some episodes. I think I told you I watched more with women than men because that's what I am, obviously. And I think it's heavy content and it has its place. But I think that you do a lot of first responders, is that the right term?
First
And I think
responders and military
first
base primarily.
responders and military have so many fun things that happen in their day. They don't always see everybody at the bad
Nope.
or their worst.
We
or,
laugh. I always say I laughed more as a cop. I could tell
without
you
a doubt.
stories that'll make you cry.
Yeah, I mean,
Getting
so
chased by
I'd
a flying squirrel across a bedroom at
I'd-
6:30 in the morning.
So I'd like to see a show about fun. What
Yeah, but
funny?
nobody
Funny.
suffers. Nobody suffers from fun.
You can
They
have
wouldn't
too
need
much
a suffering
fun.
podcast
You can
anymore.
have
Funny
too
cop
much fun.
stories.
Oh,
Yeah,
funny cop
stories.
stories,
Yeah, funny
yeah.
cop stories.
We'll
We
get-
could do that.
We'll get Crudell and
'Cause-
De Palma in again for that
Oh
one.
God, yeah, but it'll be talking about all sorts of weird stuff. Now you have by the time this airs, your book will be just about out. And so why don't you give the name of the book and where we can find the book? I want you to throw that out there.
Okay, so welcome to the family. My Life as a Mob Daughter is the name. And
of course, we're talking about your father, Lorenzo Martino, or a.k.a. Larry Martin.
Yes.
A.k.a. Jimmy the Fish, a.k.a. Larry the Squig.
He had a lot. And it's going to be published by Media Casters and available on Amazon. And
there's a website too, right?
There's a website, and it's called Welcome to the Family, My Life as a Mob Daughter. You can go there. There's a little bio about me. Submit your email so that you are notified when the first printing happens.
Yes.
And there'll be hardcover, softcover at first, and then hopefully an audiobook. I'd like to do that at some point, so we'll see.
I think
you should have Kevin do the audio for your book. He's got such a great radio voice.
Not a good face for radio.
He's got a face for radio.
I'll do it in the 1930s radio voice.
There you go.
Try Everlight spark plugs.
See?
Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
I think you have. This story has. I've told you this. We've had conversations. Angela is like when we have this stuff in our head. Angela and I will talk, and I think Angela's story has legs. I think it has more legs than just a book because it's an interesting story, and I don't think it's ever been told especially the way that you tell it, and you pepper in these names: Donnie Brasco, Lefty Ruggiero, Sonny Black, Mike Sabella. I remember them all. And
they were just part of me meeting them. I
Uncle
was
Jim?
around them. Yeah, Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim.
They were just there. They were part of my
family.
existence,
Because you didn't know any better.
No, and nor did I care. They were just
As long as they were nice to you.
They were nice to me, and I knew my father did business with them and things,
But you saw them a lot in the same way you saw your father. They're just men. They're men. They're friends of your father's. They're husbands. Their wives. Their grandparents. So they do have another life.
This was just their business.
Yeah.
This was just something they did. This is, Lefty Ruggiero was a little different. He was mob 24/7, but most of them, and he also loved his second wife and his tropical fish and his animals. And
but Mike and I don't walk around with microphones every day doing podcasts.
I do once in a while.
This is something they did, and these are who they were, and and I think so. I think what you say is interesting. So I did not seek this out as a boyfriend. It was not my dream to go out or marry a mob guy. And a woman that chooses that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You choose your path. You make your decisions, but your decisions speak about who you are.
It's not romanticized with you.
No, there's nothing romantic about it. I was born into this, and I did not have a choice. I was taught to navigate it, and I was taught this is how we are. But I was taught to run as fast as you can, like that little gingerbread man from this life.
And you ran right to the
very
publisher.
different.
You ran right to the publisher, wrote the book, and it's an homage to your father.
And she ran right to the Suffering podcast.
That's true.
I did.
That's true.
I did.
Angela, we expect great things from you, and we're going to do
hope
everything
so.
We can in order to.
And I will come back, of course,
Listen,
when it's published.
when your book comes out, absolutely come back.
Yeah, I will come back.
I know you got more stories that you didn't tell us before.
We'll get the backstories.
I think I could actually tell more without a book, to be honest with you, because I have little snippets, but you can't put them in a book. So no, I will definitely come back if you ask me.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
keep in touch. You're
welcome.
part of our family. So
I definitely will. Fun.
Okay, we'll bring you back for the episode of Fun because you're a fun person.
On season 4 of the Fun podcast, we will have Angela Pisano back. Thank you very much for coming and sitting with us. Thank you for showing up at our year-end party, and we look forward to seeing what you got in the future.
And now you can go up to the bar and have a drink.
That's where I'm headed right now to have a drink.
We will be right back.
Thank you.
And we're back. And we have a very exciting guest, somebody who has become family to us, who started out their career on the other side of the law. We were on one side, Benny was on another side. That is the Benny Love. But
the capital T-H-E. The
Benny Love. But Benny has become family to us. He's become endearing to us. We have a lot of the same friends, a lot of the same interests. Benny, thank you so much for coming in.
Honored. Thank you.
You know, it's like everybody we talk to knows Benny Love.
And
I mean,
Benny was
it's really amazing.
the thing I love about
He's
Benny,
synonymous in Hoboken.
the thing I love about Benny Love is when we had Butch on for the first time, Benny came in and sat down, and you saw his face. It was stone. It was stone. You didn't know what to think of us. Who the hell are these two
He didn't
guys?
trust us at first.
Well, you were cops.
Yeah, right. So, like, what were your initial thoughts when you came in with Butch, and you just came in for support with Butch?
Yeah.
What did you think about what we do?
Initially, it was all about Butch. And then I saw that it was a bigger message. I saw what you guys are trying to bring to light, and you trying to help people. You had your own trauma. And I think people need to learn from people who've been through stuff.
Exactly.
So I always tell people, unfortunately for me, that I had to go through it, but fortunately for you, because you learn.
You know, anything you get involved as an addiction, whether it's trauma or whether it's gang violence, whether it's drugs or alcohol or anything like this, and I just heard this today, the cure for addiction is suffering. If you think about that, if you suffer enough until one day you say, I'm out, I'm done.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, this is not worth it.
You see all these people that go out and they're drinking, they become like full-blown alcoholics, and they're like, why? And that's when they wake up and, like you said, you hit the depths of your suffering and you realize this isn't for me anymore.
Well, what was your moment, Benny, where you said enough, I'm out?
I did it with a plan. I just wanted a couple years in. I knew I was going to exit. And anything you do, whether it's building real estate, opening a store, a business, or the street, you got to have an exit plan. And I was fortunate to listen to a lot of conversations of business prior to, and picked up a lot of formulas that work in the business world, implemented in my world, which is a street world, and I knew what it was going to take. So I knew it was going to be by force. I knew I was going to have to put my life on the line. I knew I was going to have to fight to the finish. But it's either do or die. If you don't die, you'll get it.
But you were shot and pretty much left for dead,
Yeah,
correct?
well,
And you didn't quit right after that?
No, I was
that
already
wasn't-
done. I was retired. I was already out of the street. When I got shot,
Are you
it
tired from
was-
street life?
Is the,
You see, when
know
he
what?
said-
Do they have a pension in that?
If I could curse, I can say.
Go
I
You
ahead.
can
would
say
You
whatever
can say
you want
whatever
to
you
say,
want.
man.
They only test you when your gun goes wrong, right? When I was in the street wilding, nobody wanted to shoot me. Maybe everybody wanted to shoot me, but they wouldn't dare. I'm shoveling snow outside real estate, and they try to rob me. I went for the gun. I smacked his gun. If you're still alive, I smacked your gun, and you pulled the trigger because you pulled the gun back, not because you tried to shoot me because you were scared. You stayed there. I got in my truck. And when I looked, the guy that was working for me in the other building was still shoveling because he shot me with a silencer. It went through rib to rib. And I was like, yo, I'm hit. I'm going to the hospital. And he just froze up. He wasn't a shooter. He just came, he took a shot. It didn't work. When I told the kid Primo that was working for me, yo, I'm shot, get in. The kid was still standing on the corner where he shot me. He was scared. He just locked up. But I didn't want to stay there. I just, hurry up, get in. And I drove myself to the hospital. I flatlined at the hospital. I took my clothes off. The bullet fell out of the other side of my body. It was a hollow tip. I had it in my fingers. I was holding it. And then, when I laid out, I died. And then it was, when you wake up, the process. You can hear, but you can't see. You can't move.
Sometimes it takes a punch in the gut for you to see right.
Yeah.
No, I was already seeing right. I was already doing the right thing.
He was
I was
out-
already
he was out of the
invested.
game by then.
I was already out of the street. But you know where I went wrong was, that's where keeping it real goes wrong. So a lot of kids that you guys are hustling and you want to keep it real with your people when you leave. One thing that this man taught me, Dave, who was a very wealthy man in our neighborhood, he said, don't think they changed because you did.
It's a big mistake.
So when
Yeah,
I
exactly.
changed, I stayed in the hood. And it got me shot.
But you were out of the game. You were collecting your street pension at that point because
Yeah,
you retired from the game.
Yeah.
But they
I
were
had
still
my
in it.
cred, I was the man, driving Bentleys and boats.
Like I said, you talk street cred.
Oh, Benny's, you talk to anybody in the Hoboken area, we've heard the stories.
Benny's got street
yeah, I'm
cred.
not lying. I can't lie.
No.
If I made it up, then
Too many people that
I'll
know
get
you.
called out. Yeah.
Of your episode, what was your favorite moment? What was your moment where you feel like you got the best message out? Because that's your life now. Your life is getting this message out.
For a long time, I wanted to do this because I was always a kid that was suffering from the inside. So I was a good kid that had to be a bad man through circumstances that I went through, to become this good man again. To bring the good person out again, I had to be an animal, and then get back to, all right, now here I bring the kids in, I do mentoring, I do one-on-one, I do as much as I could, like helping kids through classes. I got parents that call me, I go to their house and kind of scare the kids because I still have the reputation, and it's funny because there's 3 or 4 generations after mine that respect me, like when I was in the street, but it's the old
like I said,
stories.
you are synonymous with Hoboken. Everybody in Hoboken knows you.
But you had to
the
have
cops
those
know you, the
building
criminals know you.
Yeah.
Everybody,
You had to build that foundation in order to get your message out now.
Yeah, I had to. And I lead by example. Like, I don't tell these kids, don't sell drugs, right? And I go and sell. I don't do that. I tell you exactly what you need to do, and I give you, I'll give you an example right now. I'm a person. I'm a business, not a person. Right now, to get to the next phase in life where I want to be, I got 4 financial cycles that I have to meet. My first cycle is to clear debt. The second cycle is to recover the debt. The third cycle is to reinvest, right? And the fourth cycle is to recover what I just invested, right? So if I want to call it 48 months or 60 months, my goal is to do it in maybe 18 months or 20 months.
Wow. Of our shows that you've seen, is there anything that we haven't had on yet that you would like to see us do?
I like that you guys touch.
Aside from like a stripper or something like that.
Yeah, I never went to the strip clubs. I didn't do the strip thing either. I'm not into that.
Listen, do me a favor. Say you want a stripper on the show.
All right, I want a stripper on
There
the
you
show. Pretty one too.
Andrew, we got to get ourselves a stripper.
So Andrew, start growing your hair out.
Now, you guys, listen, let me say that you guys are doing a great job. What you haven't touched on specifically on a show, your guests touch on them. Because you guys don't just talk about this. Just talk about everything. Because with so many followers and so many people, there's more people suffering in this world than happy people.
See, that's the whole thing. I mean, there's people suffering and they think they're by themselves. This show shows people that you're not by yourself. Someone else is going through the same suffering that you're going through.
And they're hiding it.
Exactly.
They're dealing with it inside because you know why? I was suffering while people thought I was happy. I'm running around, everybody sees a smile on my face, I'm all over the hood, everybody loves me, I walk in everywhere, people say hello, but there's different cycles that I have to get through, and that's pain from inside that you have to recover, and then you say, you know what, let me, like a lot of this stuff that I do now, or my mentoring when I talk to these kids, I'm kind of telling them my pain, and I'm going to doing a therapy session for myself while I'm helping them.
You're hired.
Yeah.
You're hired because you just talked about what we do.
He's a spokesman for our show now.
Yes.
There you go.
So Benny Love is everywhere. Why don't you throw out a couple plugs? Where can we find you?
Well, 25 Fifth Street, Hoboken. I'm setting up a service called Go Postal, Ship It to Benny Love. I'm going to be a third-party carrier service. Every pitcher needs a catcher. Amazon knows how to pitch the packages, but they haven't had the right hub. So I'm going to turn part of my restaurant there. We're going to open up all day. And now you can shop online 24 hours a day, and you can ship it to Benny Love.
That's pretty cool.
Do you have a website or anything?
I'm working on everything right now.
So when you get it out. We'll put it out to
We'll definitely put it out
the
for you.
audience.
Yeah, I want to bring it everywhere.
And let's sit down and have a meal at your restaurant.
No, we're going to go eat somewhere better. We go to Michelina's.
We'll eat at your restaurant, and we don't pay because we're cops and we're cheap as hell.
Yeah.
So it's
all on the arm.
It's on a Benny Love arm.
Yeah, I take the cops to dinner now. Yeah.
And we are going to be right back. Let's keep this going.